Isn't Justin Harrison amazing? You love Justin? Known Justin for a long time now, and I love to hear him teach and speak, and he has so much vast experience, doesn't he? So one more round of applause for Justin. Now the little monitor in front here says, time's up. So I will see you. Just kidding. All right, well, I am going to do something I haven't done for years, a number of years. In fact, I can't really remember the last time I did this. I'm not going to talk about, what would I say, cultural or mission sorts of things that I talk about, frankly, quite a lot. I'm going to talk about the compensation plan today. I have some reasons for doing that, okay? I haven't done this or taught this for years. I used to, in the very beginning, do it a lot, but I haven't for years and years. I depend on others to teach this. But there's several reasons I want to talk about this today and teach this today. And I'm going to start out, in fact, since I was changing everything up this morning, I wrote myself a couple of notes so I wouldn't forget. But there's several reasons I want you, as Brazil, as a fairly new doTERRA market, I want you to understand some things. I want you to not make mistakes that I've seen made so many times in so many places around the world, including in the United States. And there's a number of reasons for this. I'm well aware in many places in the world, and including even the United States, many people can't afford to just consume the products. They can't afford to do that on a monthly basis. And so you need to be able to teach them how to be able to afford to consume the products. Another reason is our compensation plan. When we did this, we spent months. We spent 2 months. I was in a conference room whiteboarding this. We analyzed it. We did something called pro formas, just projecting again and again and again what the outcomes of this was, because we had to get it right. We had to get it really right. And I can tell you that our compensation plan is built around behaviors. It's designed to incentivize the correct behaviors at the correct levels and ranks that we have in the plan. We have essentially 12 ranks going to diamond in this, and our presidential diamond in our plan. And we wanted to incentivize the right behaviors at each level because they differ a lot. There's a big difference what you do when you're brand new or what you do when you become a silver as opposed to what you do when you become a diamond. It's very, very different. And it's a leadership track is what it is. And so we want to incentivize the right thing. So that's very, very important. I want to share with you too just an experience that, well, before I do that, one of our markets, Australia, Australia has it has less than 24 million people. Now I understand that Brazil has something like 210 million, is that right? Something like that, 210 million. A lot bigger than Australia, population-wise. And Australia today, in terms of the size of the doTERRA business, is about 25 to 30 times as big as Brazil today. 25 to 30 times. It's a lot bigger, of course, but that's because we've been there a lot longer. Australia was one of the first markets that I remember we went to. Dr. Hill and I used to go and do tours around Australia in those early days and teach and educate. And so Australia's been up and running now with us for probably about, I'm going to say, 7 or 8 years, something like that, maybe 7 years. And but I was out there earlier this summer and became aware of a significant problem. I was looking at the commission plan and the global average payouts, which I'll show you in a few minutes, the global average payouts, and the leaders and the office and their general manager and other corporate staff are coming to me and saying, Dave, this isn't the same as Australia. We make less than this. In fact, it wasn't huge, but it was a significant percentage less than what you're saying the average compensation plan payouts are at each rank. I came back very concerned. I thought, we have a problem. We have a technical problem in how Australians are being paid. And we start to dive into this and analyze it and figure out what the problem was. Well, you know what? I was wrong. There was nothing wrong with our technology, our technical way in which we were computing commissions or anything like that. You know what was wrong? They were right, by the way, and that the payout was less. But what I found out was that they had, through their leaders, some very strong, influential leaders, had taught some bad behaviors that had seriously impacted the commission payout, not to the leaders, and they didn't do this intentionally, by the way. This was not intentional by these leaders, but it had seriously impacted the payout to the middle and lower ranks, and it was significant. This is something we have to turn, and we're in the process of doing that now. So, what even concerned me more as we dove into this problem at the corporate level is that the people that were with me in the room, my finance people and some others, and even general managers that we had visiting with us after our convention in Utah last month, didn't really understand this either. That concerned me, and it scared me just a little bit. So we're going to work on that. We're going to teach better. I know this compensation plan like the back of my hand because I was very, very involved in designing it. And it was designed with specific objectives in place that were very, very important to us. So I'm going to teach some of that to you today, if that's all right. I haven't done this for years, so I had to go scrape up an old presentation I had from years and years back and freshen it up just a little bit. And so I'm going to use that and try to teach this. I'm going to give you a fourth reason for why I'm going to do this today. And that is this. Justin Harrison said this very correctly. We do what we do not for the money. We do it for the influence that we can have in the world. I just had last week my general manager and some other corporate employees return from one of our Healing Hands projects up in Turkey, up in the European continent there. And up there we try to help with some of the refugees camps. And one of them we've been working with for a couple of years now. We've built a large community center that the people can actually gather in. It's doing really, really well. It has about 3,000 people in this refugee camp. And it has, we've helped them, and they've got education and school set up there for the kids, and they even have a bicycle checkout program, and it's doing well. Anyway, the other refugee camp they visited was designed for about the same number of people, a maximum of about 2,500 to 3,000 people. But this refugee camp had over 8,000 people in it. And they came back very impacted, my employees did, because they were shocked at what they saw. Desperate shock. These people were literally, in some cases, going without food, very, very hungry and starving. The winter is coming on up there. It gets cold in the winter up there. It'll even snow. And anyway, they have immediate need, because they're sleeping on the ground without any blankets or sleeping bags, for 10,000 blankets and 10,000 sleeping bags. Now, doTERRA is immediately moving, with the help of some of our leaders, to get 10,000 blankets and 10,000 sleeping bags in place there. But there were other serious problems in this camp. It was desperate. It's hard for us down in this part of the world to understand the desperate situation of the refugees up there in some of these parts of the world. So I'm sharing that with you because if you want to impact the world and really try to do some good and change things like that, it's really important that you have the means and the resources to do it. And And so that's one of the reasons that we do what we do. We do it so that we can give back, right? We do it so we can give back. So I want to teach you some things today to make sure as many of you as possible are in a better position to give back. So I'm going to begin today by, let's see if I can get what I'm seeing here to show up here on the screen. I'll give them just 1 second here. I'll start just by explaining something. There's 2 ways that you can enroll in doTERRA here in Brazil, right? As a wellness advocate or as a wholesale customer. Well, the wholesale customer actually is kind of new. The wholesale customer is something that we introduced in the United States, I'm forgetting now, but probably a couple of years ago at least anyway. And you guys have started with it, but it fulfills some very, very important things for us. And why would you enroll as a wellness advocate versus a wholesale customer? And I wanted to explain to you some of the differences of why you would do this, but we'll see if they can get this slide showing up here. Maybe I'll just verbally explain it to you as we go along here. You have to listen closely, okay? So why did we introduce this wholesale customer type? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One is that we recognize that not everybody wanted to sign up as a wellness advocate. They didn't want to make that full commitment. It was more of a commitment, right? They wanted to sign up as customers, but they also wanted to receive, here we go, they wanted to receive the benefits that we have as being a wellness advocate. So I want to just get some clarity here with you guys. And so customers, and I apologize, these first few slides aren't translated because I just added them 10 minutes ago. But they will be, most of my presentation should be translated hopefully here. So these first 4, 5, 6 slides won't be translated. So customers, I'm going to focus on the differences really quickly here for you. They have no contract, right? And a wholesale customer can't earn commissions either. But we wanted to create this healthy relationship I guess between the wholesale customer and wellness advocate. So wholesale customer has no contract and they have an enrollment form only. They aren't under the same scrutiny of making product claims as a wellness advocate is by regulatory agencies. There's no CNPG required for a wholesale customer, and whereas a CNPG is required for a wellness advocate, but I'll make an exception here. That little note there, it's in English, it tells you that the CNPG is only actually required for a wellness advocate who earns more than 1,000 reais a month, I think it is. Is that a month or a year? A month, okay. 1,000 reais a month. So we have a similar rule in the United States. So that CNPG is only required if they earn, for a wellness advocate, if they earn more than 1,000 reais a month. So, of course, a wholesale customer cannot earn commissions, right? They cannot earn commissions because they can't enroll anybody. Now, and they have no downline, of course. Now, other things about wholesale customer. A wholesale customer has the same renewal fee as a wellness advocate. They have the same virtual office shopping, and they have the ability to enroll in the loyalty reward program, LRP. They get the same product discount as a wellness advocate, same level of discount from retail. They also they qualify for any promotions that a wellness advocate gets. And they also can participate in helping to qualify a wellness advocate for the Power of 3 bonus I'm going to talk about in a minute, Fast Start, and all the other parts of the compensation plan. And then there is no fee required when a wholesale customer wants to change to a wellness advocate. We don't require any additional fee for that. So these are some of the differences. So there's a lot of benefits to being a wholesale customer, isn't there? A lot of people prefer to sign up as a wholesale customer. In the US, it's about 50-50. In Japan, they really like the wholesale customer account. They'll sign up 80, 75, 80% of people as wholesale customers. But there's some other benefits to it as well. And so, now, the enroller, there's a move rule. You guys, now some of you are new, you aren't maybe as familiar with the rules about moving people that enroll in your organization. And you get the opportunity to move someone who signs up as a wellness advocate within a 14-day period after they enroll. You can move them to somewhere else in the organization. Well, guess what? With a wholesale customer, you get what I call an eternal move rule. In other words, you can sign them up. They might be there for 6 months. They might be there for 2 years. And then one day, they might change to being a wellness advocate. At that point, you can move them anywhere you want in the organization. Because you don't really know if someone just wants to be there as a customer and consume the products, which is great, or they want to start building a business. But you don't always know when a person first signs up. That's another reason that we put that in place. And so these are some of the important concepts maybe to think about: wholesale customer versus a wellness advocate. But I mostly want to talk about the following. So there are different types of compensation plans that we have, right? And 3 main types of compensation plans are a binary, what they call a breakaway plan, and then finally a Unilevel plan. doTERRA is a Unilevel plan. Now, when we were first designing our compensation plan in the very beginnings with doTERRA, at that time the binary plans were the sexy way to go. Okay, that's what everybody did. Where a new company was starting. They started with the binary plans. We didn't do that. We didn't do that on purpose. Now, I'm not going to get heavily into this, but for those of you who are a little bit more interested, these are some of the pros and cons for a binary plan. Binary plan, as it implies, has just 2 legs. And you get paid typically on just the smaller leg, not on the larger leg. So everything goes into 2 legs. And so it's easy to explain, typically. That's the good things about binary plans. But they're kind of deceptive. They're deceptive in how they pay. And they usually, as I said, pay only on that weak leg, the small leg. And they are liked a lot by big, powerful, influential leaders because they can usually make a lot of money very quickly. And that's why they like a binary plan, because usually you can build large monthly checks very quickly. Whereas a Unilevel plan is a little slower. Another way, a breakaway plan, this is companies like Amway uses this, New Skin, Tupperware uses this. This is a plan that can also be effective, but it's difficult to understand. They're very complex. And distributors are incentivized lots of times to stockpile product, to build up a lot of product in their garage and stuff like that, rather than consuming it. It also has negative aspects of it where it leaves what we call dead bodies in the wake, or people that you are no longer paid commissions on. That never ever happens in doTERRA's plan. That's the breakaway plan. Unilevel plan. There's a number of companies. doTERRA uses this. Tish and Noni, Mirinda uses this. New Ways uses this Unilevel plan. It's the easiest plan to explain. And some of you might not think that, but I'm going to try my best to explain it here in a few minutes. We always said when we were designing the plan that it had to pass the 5-minute napkin test. 5-minute napkin test. You know what that means? That means if you're sitting at lunch with somebody, maybe in a restaurant, that you could explain this thing in 5 minutes on a napkin, drawing it out. Well, I can do that in 5 minutes, and or give me a little whiteboard or something, but it has to be simple. It's great for part-time distributors, people that aren't making this a full-time initiative. It's great for that. Width is very important, but compression is the key in a Unilevel plan, and this is where they differ. And I'm going to explain this a little bit here, as I have some great examples here in the audience with this. It's criticized sometimes with the perception that it takes a while for incomes to be large, all right? And that's why it's really, really important that you understand doTERRA's plan so that you won't fall into that trap as much. So doTERRA's compensation plan is built on basically 4 different things that you earn money with. 2 of the things are front end that matter in the very beginning of building your business, and they are Fast Start and Power of 3, and I'm going to explain these in just a minute. Fast Start, Power of 3. Second thing is where you earn money in doTERRA is what we call the Unilevel, which is your organization, and then the pools, the leadership pools. They're also become very, very important. But in the beginning, you don't care about those last 2 things. You only care about the first 2 things. But leaders should always teach those first 2 things and teach them very effectively. And I'm going to tell you why. So, Fast Start. I'm going to give you an explanation of Fast Start. Fast Start pays at 3 different levels, okay? And so you have a new wellness advocate, and what happens is, so if I signed up Justin Harrison, and I'm Justin's enroller, I'm gonna earn 20% of whatever he purchases in the first 60 days that Justin is signed up as a new either wholesale customer or as a wellness advocate. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna earn 20% on what Justin does. And so that's pretty decent, isn't it? That's pretty important. So if he orders 100 US dollars, I'm going to earn 20 US dollars on whatever he does in his first 60 days of enrollment. Well, the person who enrolled me is going to earn 10% on whatever Justin does, and the person who enrolled that person is going to earn 5% on what Justin does. Now, why is that important? Well, it's because hopefully my enroller and their enroller are incentivized to help me, because maybe I'm pretty new too, be able to help Justin and explain to him how to use the products and other things like that. They're going to come and they're going to support me. And maybe I'm brand new and I haven't ever taught essential oil class before. Maybe they're going to come and help me teach it or teach it for me in the beginning because I'm brand new and I don't know what I'm doing. And they're incentivized to do that because they're going to make 10% or 5% of those commissions off anything that a new person enrolls in for their first 60 days. So that's Fast Start. Pays a total of 35% in commissions on every order that's ordered by a new person. Everybody understand that? I think we got that. To earn Fast Start, you do have to be doing a 100 PV loyalty reward order, LRP order, every month to earn Fast Start. And so that's an important thing to remember. Now I'm going to talk about Power of 3. Again, these 2 bonuses are extremely important to new people in the beginning. Here's a huge error that Australia made. Australian leaders didn't teach Power of 3 at all. Not all of them, but some significant ones did not teach Power of 3 bonus. This is a really important bonus because it pays out a lot on just a few people. Okay, that's one thing it does. The other thing it does is it helps a person learn to start to build the correct structure right from the beginning. That's the other thing that it's designed to do. And you have to become very, very good at doing this. I remember in our very beginning times with doTERRA, Justin Harrison and our new leaders, some of them which are here, some of our US founders, this bonus was really important to them. Really important. If they didn't get it, they were just, really heartbroken in some cases. And this was really important to them. So I'm going to teach it as 3 different levels. The first level, all you have to have is you and 3 qualified people on your front line. This is what I call a structural bonus. It's a hard set structural bonus. It's all about specific structure. And so I have to have 3 people on my front level, my first level, and they all have to be, so they could be signed up actually as wellness advocates or as wholesale customers, either, it doesn't matter. They have to be on a qualifying 100 PV order, LRP order each month. And if I have those 3 people, I make $50 US or 200 reais every month on this. So this is a group of just me and 3 other people, and that do this on a monthly basis. Between the 4 of us, you have to have 600 in what they call a total PV of team volume. Now that can also be counted as anyone else on my front line, wellness advocate, wholesale customer, doesn't matter. They get counted in this team volume as well. And so that's 50 or 200 reais that you earn with that little structure. Here's the next structure. This one requires a minimum of 12 total people, 12 people. It goes the first level and it goes the second level. Okay, a total of 12 people. So what it's designed to do, in essence, is those 3 people on my front line, they all need 3 people of their own. And if they get that, of course, what will they earn? They'll earn the $50 US bonus or the 200 reais that month. But if I get those people to qualify, I will make 1,000 reais, okay? Again, minimum of 12 people. All of these people have to be on a 100 PV LRP order, monthly order. They have to be signed up for that. But I can build this with literally as few as 12 people. And again, my 1, 2, and 3 people up there on my front line, when I earn the 1,000 reais bonus, they all earn the 200 reais bonus, right? Does that make sense so far? This is really important in the beginning, this particular bonus. There's a 3rd level to this. There's a 3rd level that also becomes really important, and that allows me to earn more. This takes a minimum of 40 people, 40 people to earn this bonus. But it's significant in that it pays 5,000 reais per month. 5,000 reais per month. Now this is in addition to what you will earn from your Fast Start or Unilevel as well. And so this is an additional bonus, very important bonus in the beginning, really, really important. This was a bonus that Australia, the average payout for this bonus around the world is really, really close as far as the percentage of the commissions. In Australia, it was much lower because the leaders weren't teaching it. And they were teaching a different model, and it completely ran by this bonus. Now, the leaders, big leaders, they didn't care. But those smaller people, this is a big deal to your younger people in doTERRA. So backing up just a little bit, to earn this bonus, each of those people, those 1, 2, and 3 on my front line, they're now each earning that 2nd level bonus, the 1,000 reais a month bonus. And then each of their people, they have to have 3 200 reais bonus people below them on that 3rd level, right? And so I have a maximum of 40, a minimum of 40 people. Typically, of course, you're going to have more people when you make this bonus. You're going to have more people than 40. In fact, I've also seen that most people that earn this bonus also, at that point, are what we call a silver rank. All right, they're earning silver at that point. This is important. This is important. I can look at people, some of my U.S. founders that are here with us today, not just Justin Harrison and Lil Shepard and Terry Shepard, but people like the Rigbys are here as well. They know the importance of this bonus when you're first starting out. And so, if that makes sense, Power of 3, very important. Teach it. It forces you to also become very good at teaching the value of our LRP, or Loyalty Reward Program. Very, very important for a leader to become very good at teaching the value of being an LRP member. So I might be creating more confusion, but hopefully that makes some sense here as we go through this. Now, I want to talk about a bonus that we introduced, what's it been now? Not even 2 years ago, probably a year and a half ago now. This is a very important bonus. It's called the Empowerment Pool Bonus. Now, it gets paid to Premier and Silver ranks, which are kind of lower middle ranks in the compensation plan. It's very, very important because earning this bonus will allow you, a lot of people, to be able to do doTERRA full-time here in Brazil. I'm going to give you just a little bit of history for what it's worth on why we did what we did here. This slide here shows the average monthly earnings of those just for Fast Start. This is only the Fast Start bonus. And you can see from this only shows from the director level, which is one of our lowest ranks, up to platinum. I'm not going to diamond, blue diamond, presidential. I'm just showing these lower ranks. And you can see that as a percentage, the Fast Start matters a lot more to these lower level people. For director, Fast Start makes up 37% of their total commissions that they earn. So it's kind of a bigger deal to younger people, not as big a deal when they get older. Platinum, it's only 8%. As far as a comparison to their things. So we looked at this back in the day and we thought, okay, what if we added a new 1% pool? And in other words, we took 1% of the entire global commissions for that month and we paid more. We didn't take it away from anything. Initially, when we were designing this bonus, the intent was to take something away. Okay, frankly, I was looking at that last 5% on Fast Articles, 20, 10, 5 on Fast Start. I was looking about that last 5% on Fast Start and impacting that, because who cares? Well, found out people do care. And so we decided that we would pay this thing, we would do this bonus anyway. And we actually took it from the net profits of the company. Okay, no company does that. That's very unusual. We decided to do it anyway because I saw it, my partner saw it as an investment. We saw it as an investment. So it actually took for us to do this, it actually took a full 3% net profits to do this. So if you're making 15% net profits of the company, now you're making 12. That's what it did, but it was important to us because I figured it would stabilize the lower ranks and make them very strong, which would make everything strong all the way up. That was the philosophy. You know what? It worked. It worked. It's been a good thing. And so these are some initial numbers that I'm going to share with you here. And since it's all translated, I'm going to try to see my slide here so I know what it's saying. But these are the people that participate. It's just the Premier and the Silver ranks. And you can see their average total earnings, this new pool, what it would add, and then the average earnings total. So you can see the totals there for Premier and for Silver. Now, this was if we didn't have any other requirements. We just looked at the people that came as Premier. So that ended up being 493 reais a month that would add. Good, but we wanted it to be better. And so we decided what would happen if we required that the people earning that bonus each month had one additional requirement. They had to enroll one person with 100 PV enrollment that month to get paid that bonus, okay? So if I hit Premier or I hit Silver next month, let's say, if I also enrolled one person with at least 100 PV order that month, I would get paid that bonus. Well, you know what that did to the level of the bonus? It increased it from, what was it? Forgive my reais here, 493 reais to 1,090 reais. Much more significant, huh? Much more significant. So, That was good. Now, I know that behaviors change a little bit, okay, when you do this, and I was guessing or estimating that with those behavior changes, that the bonus amount would actually be 732 reais. You can hardly see that. I was guessing it would adjust out that way. Well, I wasn't far off, but actually I was a little low on where this bonus actually ended up at today. So I love this new bonus. I'm gonna now share the realities with you of what it ended up being. So, take this empowerment bonus, and you get 1 share at Premier, and you get 1 share if you're in silver. And here's an example of what it takes to be a Premier rank in doTERRA. As I think some of you know in here, Premier requires a minimum complete organizational volume of 5,000 OV, and it requires 2 legs, and those legs, a minimum of 2 legs, and each of those legs have to be executive rank or 2,000 PV each. So it requires a little bit of structure, 2 different legs, minimum of 2,000 each in each leg. Overall, 5,000 in monthly volume. If you hit that, this is what it looks like. All right, so our average commissions, this is looking at globally, our average commissions that get paid to Premier are 3,068 reais per month. That's our average commissions. If I add this bonus, it actually came out, this is what it is today. I just checked with my commission team before I came out here. This is what this bonus actually pays per month that we created. It pays 809 reais per month. That's what it is. It's pretty solid. So better than I'd hoped. And that makes a total payout at Premier level of 3,877 reais per month. That's not bad, is it? That's not bad for a lower level position in a company. This is what we were trying to create. This is the global average. I even cut off the high outliers if there were a few. I wanted this to be real. I wanted you to have a real picture of what this looks like, of what you can kind of count on if you hit these ranks. And so Premier, our average with this new bonus, is 3,877 reais. That's what it is at Premier. At Silver, here's an example of what a Silver organization looks like. Just a quick review. Silver has to have 3 legs, right? It has to have 3 legs, 3 elite legs as we call them, which is a 3,000 PV or 3,000 points per leg. So 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, a minimum of 9,000 in total organizational volume to be a silver. And if I hit silver, this is what it looks like. Our average silver globally earns 779.31 reais, 7,931 reais per month. This bonus, when you hit silver, there's an additional pool you get to participate in. It's called the leadership pool, okay? It pays for silver, gold, and platinum. So you get to participate in this one, which is 578 reais, very, very solid, very consistent. Then we add this new empowerment bonus pool, and you earn another 809 reais, okay? And then now our global average at silver is 9,318 reais. Not bad. And that's a middle rank in our plan, okay? It's not a huge rank by any means, but it's not insignificant, is it? This is the key to doTERRA's plan. I have worked at companies where the payout, starting from bottom line wellness advocate to top rank, looks like this, okay? It pays horribly across the middle, and the big leaders, and only the big leaders, make big dollars, and they motivate a lot of people to churn through this middle section. We hated that at doTERRA. We hated that as a founding team at doTERRA. We wanted to create something different. We wanted to create a very strong, very stable company that would incentivize a strong consumer base. Does that make sense? A strong consumer base in there. And it had to pay at these lower ranks in a decent manner, in a good manner. And that's what we were after. That's what we were trying to design in our compensation plan. It works extremely well. So that's that premier bonus I want you all to become very aware of, because Brazil is new. And you need to be focused in on these important things as you're just starting out, especially if you're interested in earning commissions. Not everybody is interested in earning commissions. They only want the products. That's fine. That's wonderful. But for those of you who are interested, it's important to understand these bonuses, because I want you to maximize the payout, okay? I'm serious about that. I want you to maximize. I want you to make doTERRA pay you as much money as you possibly can. That make sense? Okay, and the reason for that, that makes sense, right? Why does that make sense? Because if you're successful, then you'll continue, right? You'll continue going. doTERRA has by far the highest retention rate of any company in the industry. 7 or 8 times as high as the very best companies in the industry, for a number of reasons, lots of reasons. Not just this, many things. Co-impact sourcing, the powerful essential oils, there's numerous reasons, but it has extremely high retention, so this all works. So why are we interested in doing this? As I just said, it's to increase the number of premiers and silvers, okay? I want to increase the numbers of people maintaining and achieving this rank, and especially maintaining it. And then that makes more people receiving what they call a residual or a continuous income, and then it makes very strong pathways to leadership, very strong pathways to going on and becoming diamond or higher, right? And as I said and indicated earlier, at doTERRA, we wanted to create something that's never been done before in the industry. We're succeeding in doing that. We've now, in a 10-short-year span, have become the largest company in the United States in the direct sales industry. You know what? A lot of people don't even know we're in the direct sales industry. And we're okay with that. We like that. I'll add something here too. In the United States, we are not members of the DSA, Direct Sales Association. Most companies believe that if you're not members of that DSA organization in the United States, that you're not a legitimate company. You're not a legitimate company. They want us to be members very badly for 2 reasons. One, doTERRA is seen as one of the gold standard companies. They know it's solid as a rock, has a great reputation. They want us in that organization. 2, they want our money, okay? They charge you large fees of being in that, and it's charged according to your top revenue. And so, but we don't want to be in there. But you know the main reason I don't want to be in there? And we reject this organization globally, actually? Because we don't want the association. Why? Direct selling is the most powerful business there is. People-to-people selling and sharing and education, there's nothing more powerful, but it has very negative connotations around the world. Probably here in Brazil as well. Definitely does in the US and other countries. Probably does here in Brazil. We want it to be viewed differently. And so we don't associate with those. You'll never see us on the front page of a Success magazine, for example. We won't do it. We want to be different. We are a different company, and I want you to understand that as much as is possible. So, moving on here, other ranks here. Silver, as I mentioned earlier, requires 3,000 volume legs to be a silver. And then, as I mentioned earlier, this is that pool, that $150 US, I can't remember what it was, Reyes. But when you hit silver, you start to participate in the first leadership pool outside of empowered success, the empowerment pool that I just told you about. So you start to receive this. Silver receives 1 share of this, $150 US. Golds receive 5, so 5 times that. And platinums receive 10 shares, 10 times $150 US, $1,500 US, whatever that translates to in Reyes, I'm not sure. But that's the first leadership pool that you participate, and those are the shares. The shares are very consistent. They don't change month to month. There's so many people in those pools that it's very solid, like a rock. Diamond. I'm going to show you a diamond really quickly. How many of you are going to become diamonds? A lot of people in this room are going to become diamonds. Many, many people. Okay? And so a diamond, again, a diamond requires 4 silver legs, 4 silver personally enrolled legs underneath you. And of course, you can see the rest of the structure for silver. So total volume required to hit diamond, the minimum volume, it's simple math, isn't it? There's 9,000 that's required for silver, so 4 times 9 is 36. 36,000 in monthly volume is the minimum requirement to hit diamond. Okay, just a quick little math for you. Minimum of 36,000 in monthly volume to hit diamond. Now most people are going to have more volume than that because a leg will grow faster than another leg. But I have seen people hit this with as little as around 40,000 in total monthly volume. Now, other performance pools that become important to you. There's a diamond performance pool that you receive when you hit the rank of diamond. It pays to diamond, blue diamond, and presidential diamond. Diamonds get 1 share, blue diamonds get 2 shares, presidential diamonds get 3 shares. This is one of the pools. But the one that really matters is this second one. This second pool, we take 1% of the global volume and we pay it just to the diamonds. We take another full 1% of the global volume and we pay it, or total commissions, and we pay it just to blue diamonds. We take 1%, we pay it just to presidential diamonds. This bonus pool becomes very significant. I'll share with you the amounts in just a few minutes of what those are. But this is another important pool that kicks in at diamond. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Unilevel. The Unilevel, that's what most people will call doTERRA's plan, is they'll call it a Unilevel plan. Now I have some examples up here. I have company B and company B, of course. Anyway, so what this is showing here in this particular example, it's showing what happens if I flip my Unilevel upside down. So this is an example. And as you can see that this is showing paying 6 levels deep in your organization. And it's showing on the left there that it starts with 5% on the first level, it pays 5% on all the volume on the second level, pays 5 on the third, then it drops to 4, 3, 2, 1. Actually, it's 7 levels, sorry, I can't count. But 7 levels deep. And you can see that in this hypothetical example here, you can see that that I'm going to get paid a total of about, that hasn't been that has been translated in the resume, but $35,900 is what I'm going to get paid in U.S. dollars. $35,900. That's a lot of money. Okay, obviously this is an example of someone that has a very good organization. Now you can see on the right-hand side here what happens if we flip that payout upside down. So, makes sense here. What we changed was we simply inverted these percentage payouts. This is my levels, 1st, 2nd through 7th level. This is what's being paid out as a percentage on the volume at each level, if that makes sense. So, we just flipped that. And now look what happens to my payout. Look what happens to my payout over here in the lower right-hand corner. Now I'm a lot bigger. Now I'm 202,000 reais, okay? Is that a lot of money? It's a lot of money, isn't it? And so that's an example showing the power of this. Now, I'm going to share something with you that I don't know if it's a secret or not, but it's a truth. In the direct sales world, I don't care if you have a binary compensation plan, a unilevel compensation plan, a matrix or a breakaway compensation plan. Every organization with time will look like a big diamond or look like a barrel in shape, okay? Every organization in time will look this way. The company looks this way. Any leader here can tell you that their organization will look this way. And so where it gets largest and swells the widest naturally, because it's just how it works, that's where you want to be paid the highest percent commissions. Does that make sense? Okay. I want to be paid it up here because I'm never going to be big up here, naturally, okay? It's always going to be a smaller number of people at my first, second levels, third levels, and so forth. I want to be paid where I get bigger. This is where a lot of Unilevel companies rip their people off, okay? It's right here. So I'm going to show you now an example. This is actually using doTERRA's compensation plan. And in this example, this is a real organization, not Justin Harrison's, okay? But it is a real organization that we took as an example years ago from one of our leaders. Great organization. Would you like to have that kind of volume? That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? That would be great, because this person is making 383,000 reais per month on just the Unilevel, not counting leadership pools, Power 3, Fast Start, and anything else. Just the Unilevel. Okay, they're making a massive amount of money. Now this is obviously a big example, okay, that's huge. But I want to use it to illustrate a point that I'm going to make. Look what happens. Now you know in our compensation plan, we start out first level, we pay 2%, next 3%, then 5, 5, 6, 6, 7. Finally, at the 7th level, we pay 7% commissions out, right? Now, look what happens when I flip that upside down. Okay, same organization, same volume. I just simply flipped upside down our payout. Now I'm paying 7% on the first level, 6% on the second level, 6% on the third, 5, 5, 3, and 2, right? Look what that does to my payout. Okay, same organization, same volume. Look what that does to my payout. Now, instead of 383,000 reais a month, I'm paying 174,000 reais a month. Big difference, right? I want you to understand how Unilevel, most companies that have Unilevel plans in industry today pay out large amounts on their first, second, third levels, and then they get much smaller as they go down to the lower levels. Why? Because they pay out a lot less commissions that way. And that's not what we wanted to do, because every organization, irregardless with time, again, is going to look like that. It's not ever going to look like a funnel, okay? It might in your first few months, but that's about it. It won't look like this. It will always end up like this. And so we wanted to pay people out where their larger volume is at. Now, I'm going to give you some examples really quickly. These are some companies out there in the world today, and you can see their names on the left here. And I'm simply showing in this illustration what they pay on their first level and what they pay on their latter ranks. So, for example, It Works up here is a company, and I don't know if they're located in Brazil or not, but they pay 10% on their first level, and they pay 2% on their sixth level. This is an example of what I'm talking about. They're trying to incentivize you to put people on your first level, which if you do, pretty soon you'll have a massive first level, and it doesn't work that way. Your organization it builds will still look like a big diamond eventually. It just will, or it'll swell like a barrel kind of shape. And so that doesn't work. And you can see examples all the way down here. Some are a little bit better than others, but nobody is as good at what doTERRA does. That's why we start out like we do with the small percentages up top, because Unilevel becomes by far the biggest part of your commission check with time. I can guarantee you every leader that's in here that has any size of a significant organization that's diamond or above will tell you if I ask Justin Harrison, Lil Shepherd, I see the Rigby's here, I see others here, if I ask them to stand up right now and tell you, what do you care more about? the massive size of your leadership pool portion of your commissions or the Unilevel? What are they going to tell you? Unilevel. Every time. It is the biggest part without a doubt, okay? Even though the leadership pools are very significant. I said I'll share that in a second. So we designed this to maximize payout for a Unilevel plan. Now I'm going to tell you too, really important, you must have high retention for this to work as well as it does. We have really, really good retention, and therefore it works really, really well. So, back to some basics here. What you want to teach at a silver rank is to be silver, you want to have a stable minimum. You want to be earning that 250 power of 3, all right? You want to be earning that $250 power of 3, 1,000 reais. Hopefully you're earning the 5,000 reais power of 3, okay? But you want to teach people to be at least earning that 250. You want to have 3 strong elite legs, right? You have to have 3 elite legs to become a silver. And then you start to participate in the first leadership pool at a silver rank. Now, just a couple of thoughts, philosophies here I'm going to say. I wouldn't necessarily teach new people about I wouldn't necessarily teach new people beyond the 1,000 reais level of power of 3. Yes, there is a 5,000 reais level, but that might overwhelm a new person. Most new people can think, I can get 12 people in there. I can build this organization out and I can make this. But maybe the bigger one's a little bit more overwhelming. So just focus on the 1,000 reais level of power of 3. And then you teach your first and your second levels to earn the 1,000 reais power of 3 as well, and you're automatically locked in to the 5,000 reais per month, okay? So I'm going to now just mention a couple of structuring things. All right, every new market that doTERRA opens, the people make really, really big mistakes in this area. Already, I know some of you have made mistakes in this area in Brazil. Every one of my leaders from the US here today have made mistakes in this area too. Some of them very bad mistakes. They recovered from it with time, but it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary. So, it's important that when you sign someone up personally, they're called an enrollee. You're the enroller. If a leader above you signs someone up and they place them underneath you, then you're simply their sponsor. There's a difference, okay? The difference is that for someone to be a qualifying elite leg for me to become a silver, or a silver leg for me to become a diamond, I have to be the enroller. So, here's a couple of rules to remember. You place your new enrollee strategically. Always keep the enrollership. We let you give it away. We let you give it up. In the early days, a lot of our leaders did that because whoever has the enrollership earns fast start. And they would think, oh, hey, if I give up the enrollership to this person that I enrolled and I give it to this person on my first line or something, they're going to be incentivized because they're going to receive the fast start from these people, and therefore they're going to be incentivized to do something. It doesn't work that way. It usually almost never works that way. Giving someone something for free usually does not incent the right behavior. It doesn't really change them. And so keep the enrollership. Just keep it. Don't give it up. Don't give it up. I have one of our presidential diamonds. I'll name her Brianne Hovey. Some of you may have heard of her. She is presidential diamond, but she has the weirdest organization you've ever seen. Her qualifying legs that qualify her to be presidential, some of them are 6 and 7 levels deep in different parts of her organization. And there, her qualifying leg, the enroller, sits 6 or 7 levels deep, and it qualifies her as one of her legs that qualifies her to be presidential. That's just how it happened. But she was smart enough that she didn't give up enrollership. You never know what's going to happen. And she would enroll people and place them somewhere in an organization. And some of those people went on to do something, to become silvers or golds or better. and that qualifies her to be a presidential diamond. So not everybody's organization looks perfect, but there's many ways you can become successful. So don't give away enrollership, okay? There is a specific time and example when you would want to give away the enrollership, okay? But I'm not going to teach that today, all right? Because I don't think it matters to most of you, all right? But just for now, and your leaders can help you to know when to give it away. Or I'll say it, but I don't know if it'll make entire sense. But when I would give it away is if I had someone on my front line or something, and I had signed up the 3 elite legs underneath them, let's say, or I'd sign up one of the 3 elite legs and they'd sign up the other 2, and I needed a silver to qualify as a diamond. Maybe I would give them the enrollership for that elite leg once it became an elite leg so that it would make me a diamond. Okay, now that's a little technical for new people to understand, but there is a time, just keep this in mind as a general rule. Don't give away enrollership. Don't give it away, just keep it, okay? And you'll understand better the time when it makes sense to give it up. We let you give it up once. We let you change enrollership to someone, okay? But I'm just saying as a general rule, just keep it. Keep the enrollership, and it will work better for you. So, diamond, you can pretty much count on making 10,000 US dollars or 38,000 reais per month when you hit the rank of diamond, all right? And then of course it requires the 4 silver legs, and then you start earning that diamond performance pool. Now I told you I was going to tell you what these pools equal, and this is very up-to-date information. I just got it from my commission guy before I came out here. I wanted to make sure I was accurate. The average pools, and I'm counting both of the pools now for diamonds here that they earn, the average pool that a diamond level makes, just the leadership pool part of their commission plan, not Unilevel, not anything else, just the leadership pools, the bonus pools, they make very consistently $4,200 per month, okay? Or 16,000 reais per month is the diamond leadership bonus pool. And that's very consistent. It does not move. Month to month, it's very solid, very, very consistent. Blue diamond leadership pools, the bonus pools, they make very consistently about 46,000 reais per month. Typically, it's tripling. It's 3 times that you go from diamond to blue to presidential. You can think as a rule of thumb, it's pretty accurate. So it's about a tripling. So blue diamond is going to make 46,000 reais per month. Presidential diamond is going to make 130, almost 131,000 per month, reais per month. Let me say that again. 131,000 reais per month is what you're going to make as a presidential diamond, okay? You get a little bit of flux with a presidential because there's not as many of them, but not that, it's pretty solid, pretty steady. You get no movement in the diamond and very little in the blue. So, if that makes sense, those are some of the bonus amounts. This next slide shows the average global earnings at each rank on a yearly basis, I believe is what I'm showing here, yeah. This is the yearly basis average for the average earnings for silver to presidential. And you can see what those amounts are. A silver, in some parts of the world, that's a good income. Okay, that's a good income. You can live off of that, can't you? Nobody pays better or more consistently in their commission payout than doTERRA does. I used to have some slides where I would show comparisons. Don't have that with me today, but we do very well, very strong, very consistent. So this is a slide that just simply shows what you can expect to earn at each of these ranks. I'm a little out of time, so I'm going to skip this summary. You can take a picture of it if you want. This kind of is just summarizes what I've been talking about up here, but I'm going to skip on because I've got to wrap up. But Everybody's got the pictures you want, all right? This is just a summary is all of some of the things we talked about here this morning. All right, now I want to just share with you a couple of things. doTERRA is a very unique company because we didn't start out by like a lot of other network marketing companies do, where they have a management team. You get big outside funder that's funding the startup. The management team is paid big salaries right from the get-go. That's not what we did, remember? I told you about this yesterday. We didn't do that. We didn't take any pay for 13 months. And so what we did do is what you're doing, those of you who are trying to build a business. We went out and we did what you're doing. We know exactly what it's like and how hard it is and how excited and how much work it is sometimes to introduce someone new to doTERRA. But I was going through an old journal of mine and I pulled out a couple of entries up there. I'm just gonna read these to you. This was May 28th of 2009, okay? We were just a year old. And I just simply had in my journal, I'm racing along in a bullet train with Dr. Hill and Greg Cook at 200 plus miles an hour. I'm going from Osaka, Japan to Yokohama. We started this trip almost 2 weeks ago. It has been a productive but very grueling trip. Very tiring after 2 weeks of being on the road, teaching little groups. I remember that trip well. We traveled the back roads of Japan in a little minivan. We stayed in cheap hotels, some very bad hotels, and we just taught whoever would listen. Small groups of people typically, maybe 12, 15 people. The biggest group was in Tokyo, had 50 people. 50 people. That's what we taught. We taught one group, I remember, that was a bunch of kindergarten moms. It was a kindergarten, so you had about 25, 30 moms with 35-year-olds. You know what that's like to teach class like that? We introduced lavender essential oil really fast, just so we could hear ourselves speak. We had the moms take the lavender out, put it on the bottom of the feet of their 5-year-olds, and the 5-year-olds all quieted down. Okay? So that was one thing. Another journal entry that I found said this is October 26th of 2010, about 8 years ago. And it just simply said, we spent the last week traveling with David Hill, Dr. Hill, all around Australia. Covered some 22,000 miles in coach. Now, I'm not a short guy, and neither is Dr. Hill. That's painful. 22,000 miles in coach on the airplanes. Both Dr. Hill and I are exhausted, no downtime between meetings, very little sleep, but the Aussies are excited. We did this for the first 2 or 3 years of doTERRA until, very gratefully, it started to grow faster, and our leaders took over a lot of this role, right? And so we know very much what it's like. And you know what? As I think back on that time now, I'm very grateful for that, for the beginnings of doTERRA. It helped set a foundation that's very, very solid, because it had kind of a tempering or a galvanizing effect on our founding team. Brought us together very close, because when you're desperate, you get close. And so it made us very solid that way. Picture I took on that original Japan trip, 2 weeks, grueling weeks on the road, riding the subways, hauling all of our luggage with us. I had a duffel bag with 50 aroma touch kits in it. I mean, it was crazy. And sometimes it just gets to you. Now, you don't do this on Japanese subways. It is completely culturally unacceptable. But how many of you really want to do that? All right. So, anyway, I think I stole this slide from Justin Harrison years ago. But I think this slide is a great slide. Never give up, right? Never give up. That's the key to doTERRA. It's just being consistent and sticking with it. And because it's such a solid company, the products are so effective and so powerful, you will be successful in time if you don't give up. Now I'm going to have them play a short little video clip here of one of our early first people in doTERRA in our first year. Her name's Joy, if they'll play that here. This was at a global convention, a recognition piece, if we can get that going. I'm going to have them jump to the latter part of this segment just to keep it short. We'll see if we can get this to walk. If you ever come to the U.S. Global Convention, you'll get the opportunity to walk across that stage. It's quite an experience. So hopefully this will work. All right, here comes Joy. Joy's 85 years old in this picture, and she's qualifying as silver. She made it to silver. All right. That was quite a moment. I wasn't expecting this. I knew Joy from the early days, and we were a number of years into doTERRA, and to see her come walking across that stage. She's still going today. She's nearly 90, and she's still going today. So it's never too late, is it? It's never too late. And I want you to remember that. I want to end with a little bit of this quote here. And this, I'm just going to share with you leading into this just a little bit. In my early days as a husband and a father, when I just had I think I had 4 children. They were young. My oldest was not very old, maybe 7 years old, and we had all the way down to a newborn. We had 4 kids. I was looking for examples of other parents with teenagers further ahead than me as examples, as mentors, as people to look to. And I remember this one family where I lived in my neighborhood. This lady had 3 or 4 teenagers, and they were just amazing kids. They were all great kids. In fact, I would call them all kids that were at peace with themselves and the world. And I just looked at her, and I remember just thinking, wow, she's a great example to me. She's a great example. Whatever she's doing, I want to do it too, because I want my kids to end up like her kids. Anyway, years later in our relationship, as I knew this lady, she shared with me once, finally, later on, one of the most horrific examples of abuse that happened to her as a child growing up. She had been abused by her mother and her boyfriends in just horrible ways, that almost unimaginable. And yet, how did this happen? I asked her, how did this happen? How did you end up different when you grew up in such a horrible way? How have you managed to raise a family like you have? I love this quote because it describes what she told me at the time. And she said, indeed, my experience in various callings and in my profession, this is Dr. Carl Broderick, just a renowned, he's passed away some years ago, but a renowned family psychologist. He says, indeed, in my experience in various church callings and my profession as a family therapist has convinced me that God intervenes in some destructive lineages, assigning a valiant spirit to break the chain of destructiveness in such families. Although these children may suffer innocently as victims of violence, neglect, and exploitation, through the grace of God, some find the strength to metabolize the poison within themselves, refusing to pass it on to future generations. Before them were generations of destructive pain. After them, the line flows clear and pure. Their children and their children's children will call them blessed. Now I know. I'm just going to tell you, I love that quote because it describes to a degree what happens in doTERRA. All of us, hopefully, have not come from as destructive a situations as this woman came from. But all of us have some damage, okay, in our lives, one way or another. We pick up hard things along the way in life. As I said yesterday, doTERRA is about healing. That's what we do. It's about healing, and it's about being consistent and blessing the lives of others. And I hope each of you start to get a feel for this as we begin doTERRA in Brazil. If we set the foundation right, doTERRA will become a huge, huge, huge force for good in tens of thousands of lives, like it has in other places, hundreds of thousands of lives. You are the beginning. You're the pioneers here. Thank you for letting me come and spend a few minutes with you.